What is original condition? Well, that's very easy. Let's go to the property agencies. House in, you know those advertisements? House in original conditions with a wealth of historical details. Well, we all know what that means. That means you have a dilapidated casco for 400,000 in need of minimal 600,000 improvements, and the new value is about 2 million, I hope. Original condition in fine arts. It was bought at an auction for 600, and that's for a Brassau. Not bad. Somebody was sleeping. Problem is, yeah, you cannot see it here, but we call that paint loss. Restoration cost between 8,000 and 12,000. New value established 20,000. Of course, not when you want to sell it. Again, what is original condition? Yeah. Again, fine arts. Prinses Sophie van Oranje-Nassau. The owner of the piano that's there. The left one with the red background is gouache on ivory with a blackened fruitwood frame. The right one is ink on parchment, and the frame is burr walnut veneer panel. The left one is from 1840. And the right one, somebody knows it already. From what time is the right? Oh, this is one of the very rare miniatures where we can give an exact date. 7 August 2018. It's here. Jörn has flat upstairs. Well, then I put it. Oh no, not there. It's for him. But both in original condition. Original condition in square piano for the. Now we can do business. You know that also eBay, Marktplaats, etc., etc. In totally original condition, oh dear. In playable condition, it gets a little bit more pretentious. In concert-ready condition, yes, only needs tuning. Well, that's that's in the meantime the understatement among restorators. Only needs tuning. That's what do you get? Something like this. And mind the name board. That's totally not original. You get this. A variation of strings and very, very original ways of repairing strings. Does anybody have such a red pointer? Look at this knot. Look at the screw. That's original condition. Original hinges somewhere. Oh, there's another. But you see here all different kind of hammer covering. After 3 or 4 weeks of patching up, these instruments are sold for between 5,000 and 6,000 euro, especially in Germany, by a certain person. He whose name is not to be mentioned. After 1 or 2 years of meticulous restoration, you can't see the details. It's a pity. With authentic materials, these instruments after restoration are sold for 4.5 or less. Oh, Jörn, you missed something. I came as example of original condition. Here is a miniature of the princess in original condition. So after 2 years of work, you can sell them for less. It's the same broadwood 1812 as in the first one. That's here. You see some details. That's all right. What question? What is original condition? Consequence of original condition is that the diary of deception will run very fast through your trousers of desire. Conclusion, somewhere we have gone mad. And I am a retired physician, so I can put the diagnosis on it, pathological obsession with original condition. It is really. What do you get? Original strings. Some replaced, as we saw. Well, you see it here too. A herd of variety. Original hammer coverings. Some replaced. You see here all different hammer coverings. Original dampers, that will say a homeopathic rest of damping material. And original leather hinges. Oh yes, we see. Did you ever play a fortissimo with these hammers? You will have a Chinese puzzle of original hammers. In reality, you think you buy in 1812 from John Broadwood and Sons for £68 a square piano. And that's the equivalent for nowadays of €35,000. Yes. £68 was the average income of a successful lawyer in London in those days, 1812. You think you buy, what do you get in fact? 200 years old, square, with corroded strings with inharmonic choirs, loose tuning pins, dry hardened leather hammerheads with different intonations, moth-eaten worn-out dampers, hinges on the brink of falling off, and all other possible worst-case scenarios. Well, something you told us when restoring the Meerbach. This was in 1812 unacceptable. So why is it now acceptable for some people? Because we have gone too far in our crave for original condition. The fact is, you play on a 200 years old pianoforte that is, by those 200 years old standards, totally crap. So this 200 years old instrument will only produce the sound of 200 years old material and not the original sound of 200 years ago. That's the most important message. It's a 200 years old sound. And it concerns, in fact, the ephemerae, objects with a short time span of use. The first thing they do with violins of 6 million, 12 million is taking off the strings. In original condition, square pianos, it's near blasphemia if you do it. If those violin top sector does it, why not we? But, according to my old English choir master, in a good sermon halfway there's always a but from the pulpit. The client wants, because the square piano meets the 21st century market. What does the client want? The client wants the quality of a Ferrari, the service of a luxury first-class brothel, but the price of a dubious second-hand car. Well, it will not surprise you that this is incompatible with original condition. Besides that, what's original condition? What's original stringing? There is a letter from William Sterndale Bennett in 1856 to Hipkins. Hipkins came from journeyman in the Broadwood factories to the managing director, and he was the first one after Mendelssohn who again started up the historical informed practice, etc. And Hipkins writes, "Thank you very much for the spinet string. It was for sale on the Gold Collection auction, the spinet owned by Sterndale Bennett. Thank you very much for your spinet string, but it was a little bit too long, so I used it in another place. Well, what about the idea of original stringing? It's only to think something. Because everything changes when there is music score on the desk. Then we really have to produce music. The instrument as it was, when it left the piano maker shop in 1812, that's the original condition. And in 1812, the instrument had new strings. Yes, I'm very sorry. In 1812, the strings were new and not 200 years old. Yeah, you have to pay more because the historical rust is included. Reliable tuning pins. New leathers everywhere. New and right claws everywhere. Clean and smooth action. Not totally a neglectable minor detail. Etc., etc., etc. Yes. You hear those remarks. We must leave the instrument in original condition because we don't know what the original sound was. I'm sorry. No excuse. Because we know what the sound was. The only thing we know now is how a 200 years old instrument sounds and plays. That's the consequence of original condition. That's also the consequence of conservation. But there must be a good reason for only conservation and good reason for restoration. Don't forget, we speak about, and the Dutch have a very good expression for that, gebruiksantiek. It's antique stuff we use. It's working antiques. After a long period of extensive research, we have sufficient knowledge about historical strings. We know by analysis how most historical strings were composed. Yeah. All right, discussion about it, but we have a hint. The right letters, that's a special discussion. DNA revealed that the leathers they used in the 18th century and early 19th century was most related to the skin of the Tibetan hair sheep above 2.5 kilometers. I never believed that the piano makers went to the highlands of Tibet to get the sheep. So they took what was in the region available and gave the less miserable sound. Anyway, we know what the right letters are. We know what all the different kinds of cloths are. We know everything about the glues, the veneers, the varnishes, the metals, the moldings, etc. We even have the old moldings of all the ornaments.
Can I ask you for another 3 or 4 minutes and then we'll move on?
Oh, you will get it. Yes, indeed.
All right, thank you.
All the conditions and materials to bring back an instrument in original conditions are there. Yes, but, always that but. I saw an instrument in totally original condition and it played and sounded very well. In science we call this N is 0. May I remind you to one enormous fact. Casuistic does not make statistics. Original condition is only acceptable in conservation and not in restoration. And original condition is often an overvalued concept, excuse for doing nothing, excuse for doing a bad job, disguise for not being a good restorer, or an abused expression for quick and easy money. Restoration into real original condition, origine, there where it started, means the case may, within certain limits of good taste, look as an antique piece of furniture. It must be pleasant to the eyes. But All the working and sounding parts must be as it left the maker's shop yesterday. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is, and now I expect a drum roll, real original condition. That's all.